Are you a teenager who wants to publish your book? I get so many questions from teenagers wondering whether or not teens are actually allowed to be published in the industry. So if you're a teenager, you've written a book, and you're looking into the world of publishing, here's what you need to know. Teenagers can absolutely be published. In fact, in the traditional publishing world, if you want to query your book, nobody is asking for your age. They don't ask for your age, they don't ask for your race, they don't ask for your gender, they don't ask for your location. There's nothing holding you back from submitting a query to an agent or to a publisher. Literally nothing is stopping you. You can send it in to whomever you would like. And then if they like you and they would like to make you an offer, or they would like to see more from you, or they would like to talk to you about a contract, then your age comes into play, but none of those other things do. So when it comes to that, you, because you are a minor, do have to get your parents involved at this stage. You do have to talk to them because you're legally not allowed to sign a contract without your parents' consent. So your parent or your legal guardian will have to get involved. You do have to let them know a publishing company or an agent would like to discuss potentially entering into a contract with you, and then they have to give you the okay. But your agent, your publisher, the people working with you aren't going to care about your age, and your readers don't care about your age either. In fact, your age will only ever come up if you make it a thing, or if your publisher decides to leverage your age as a way to market your book. So let's just say you are really young. They might say this was written by a 15-year-old in an effort to market this book, but most people don't do that, and they aren't going to care even if they do. So your age only matters when it comes to signing that contract. You have to have a legal guardian sign that with you so that you are working on that contract with someone who is responsible for your care and well-being. After that, all you have to do is make sure you run things by your parents so that anything that is legally obligated of you to do, they know, they're aware of, and they approve of. And that's just something your publisher and your agent will work with you on. But other than that, it doesn't matter. Now, in the indie publishing world, you can do whatever you want, but again, you need parental consent. So if you are going to indie publish your book, which means you are going to get all of your royalties, make all of your decisions, you know the drill, check the information down in the description bar below on the differences between traditional and indie publishing and what you need for both to be extremely successful. One pays you more than the other. I'm just saying, it's not the one you think. So make sure you check out that information down in the description bar below. But if you are going into the indie world and you're going to be doing this yourself, you just have to have your parents' permission to do it. They aren't going to have to really sign anything. Now, you will have to work with things like printers. You're going to have to work with different companies, and they may require you to have parental consent for that. But for the most part, they don't even check on that. They just kind of get you signed up, and you're going to have to put in things like your business name, and so you're going to have to, of course, get your business legal. You want to make sure that you've got that number so that they can make sure your taxes are taken care of, all those things. So whether you are an adult or a teenager, whether you are indie published or traditionally published, you kind of have to have your business in a legal sense, and your parents might need to be involved in that just to make sure everything is covered. So that's something you're going to have to look into in each individual state or country that you live in, because that's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But for the most part, you just have to have their permission to move forward with it, and then you can publish your book. So whether you are in the indie space or the traditional space, you as a teenager or a young person or someone of any gender, any race, any orientation, any location can publish your book. It is so dang easy to get into the publishing world at this point, and there are so many resources and so many people out there to help you with this. It is so easy and so inexpensive for you to get into the publishing game and to profit and to do well and to grow your fan base and to grow your following and to put out more and more books, that anybody can jump into this. You just have to make sure that your parents or your legal guardians are okay with it. The only hang up you might have is if your parent or legal guardian says no to something, and at that point you just have to be respectful of their wishes because they are in charge over you, and you will be able to do this when you turn 18. Now, here's what I will tell you. As a young person, you are still learning, you are still growing. As a person who is just getting into the publishing industry, whether you are 15, 35, 56, however old you are, you're still learning. Regardless of how good you are at English, regardless of how good your school grades are, regardless of how many books you've read and how much you think you know the industry, I promise you, you don't. I studied this industry, I knew what I knew, and guess what? I didn't know hardly anything. And you will learn and you will grow. So you do have to have professionals in your corner. Whether you're traditionally publishing or indie publishing, you gotta have professional editors, professional formatters, professional cover designers, and you have to get some mentors. So as a young person, I 100% recommend that you get mentors and don't just rely on your friends to read your book and tell you it's good, or your mom to read your book and tell you it's good, or your aunt to read your book and tell you it's good, even if they are an English teacher. You gotta make sure you are working with the correct professionals, because as nice as your book is, it's still bad. And it was for every single one of us. We all had to learn. We all had things we had to change. There were holes in our books. There were issues. We didn't know about the grammar things. Good grief. I learned so much grammar stuff in school, and I still was not prepared for the writing world, because the things we learn in school are kind of different than the things in the writing world. There's a lot of grammar things, and if you're not up to date on them, you're gonna get caught, you're gonna get called out, and it's gonna be a problem in your reviews. So for as good as you think your book is, for as many people have said your book's amazing, you still need professional help, you still need professional guidance, and you still need a mentor in this industry. So find an author. Ask questions. Ask me questions. I'll answer your questions. I will not be able to read your book. I know a lot of people ask me for that. I get hundreds of requests for this, and I just physically can't do that. There are just so many of you. But there are lots of different people you can hire to read through it professionally. There are beta readers who are more than just other people who read books, but like people who really do it and know what they're talking about. There's lots of people that can help you, and there are going to be professional editors that help you as well. It's going to be really, really important to get developmental edits and line edits on your first couple of books, and then you'll start to learn and grow through there. So for as good as you think you are, I'm proud of you. I am impressed that you wrote a book. It's amazing, but you are not ready to publish right this second. You still have to go through the same process as everybody else to get your book to where it needs to be, whether you are 13, 30, 65, however old you are. You're gonna need other people to take a look at your book who are professionals, not just people who read, but actually in the industry and know what's going on, because there's a huge difference between English teachers, people who know really well, even people who are sometimes editing for other people, and professionals who understand not only the industry, but what's going on in the grammar world, how we are doing different things in the editing world, and what's expected in the genres right now. So you gotta get that help. I know it's a lot to take in, but you can, whether you are young, old, whether you are just jumping in, you can get into this industry. It's fun, it's easy to do, it is a heck of a lot of hard work, and you have a lot of growing to do, just like I did, just like everybody did. We all had a steep learning curve when we came into this industry. None of us had it easy, and you have to be aware that that's coming. Okay. So now that you're ready to go, your next steps are to decide what avenue you want to take. Do you want to go indie? Do you want to be traditional? Get into my description bar. I have videos on all this breaking down what's what, where you're going to be making more money, where you have more freedom, where you're giving things up, how to do this, how to do that, how to go about getting agents, how to do query letters, all those things. Check out the description bar because they've got a bunch of things that you need to know. And then when you have questions, please come back to any of my videos, drop me some questions, send me a TikTok, send me an email, send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, because I want to get your questions answered. I'm a best-selling author, and I've done this for a long, long time. I have over 24 books out in the last 3 years. They've all hit bestseller lists, so I am here to answer your questions and to make sure you're taken care of inside of this industry. If you're a young person and you've written a book, congratulations. I can't wait to see what you do with this and your next steps. Go ahead and leave some questions down below for me, and we will keep the ball rolling with this question and answer time here on the YouTube channel. And we are going to continue this conversation in our next video as we're breaking down where you're actually going to be putting your books out, what printers and distributors you're working with, and how that's all going to work with putting your book out as an indie, or where your traditional publisher is actually probably working with, and how that works, the different types of books you can get, hardcover, paperback, ebooks, what you need to know. We're going to break all that down in the next video, so hit the subscribe and notification bell, and we will talk more about the next steps for your book once it gets out to the point where it's going to be in the world. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'll see you in the next video.